Those of us who are focused on making age 50 to 75 the best years of your life, we have to remember that we have ageless potential. Let's face it, ageism is a real thing. I see it happen in the tech community. I see it happen in the professional speaker world. And I see it happening to friends of mine in a lot of industries where they're worried about losing their job, and they're worried about being seen as obsolete. But the reality is that those of us who are in this stage of our life, this 25-year period where more things can happen and we can contribute more to society than at any time ever, it's really important to remember that we have this ageless potential. I mean, let's look at politics. It's very rare in this country in modern times that we have had a president under 50 years old. Now, in the last few years, we've gotten a little silly in getting into the 80s range, and I'm not trying to be ageist about that. But I think in that realm of age 50 to 75, that is where the best years of our lives should be happening. And society really should be realizing that that is prime time for all of us, not just presidential candidates. So as we're looking at this, there are three things that I think we all have to remember when we're looking at living our life to the best we can during this period of our life. And number one is there is value in experience. The things that we've been through in our teens and our 20s and our 30s and our 40s, it has set us up for our 50s, 60s, and 70s. And nobody can take that away from us. In fact, life experience is often more important than actually having a degree. I know a lot of people who have degrees from great colleges, and that's awesome. But so what if you went to Harvard 40 years ago? I really don't care. What you learned at Harvard 40 years ago is not relevant today. It's the life experience and the way you've actually gotten around, growing and learning and taking those experiences and putting them into practice. So I think that those of us who are getting older, we need to remind people that there is value in the experiences that we've had. And in fact, I actually think that the smartest people who are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s right now, they realize that there's value in those of us with a little bit of life experience. So we want to make sure that we're not selling our value short. We have to make sure that we're singing it from the rooftops and that we're letting people know that we damn well do know what we're doing. The second point is we have to break the stereotypes. Our society has been a young person's game for a long time, and that's awesome. I'm not being ageist against the younger people. I think they're having great times in their life and they're learning and they're experiencing things. But the stereotype that our retirement age is 65 and therefore somewhere as we get close to that, we're winding down. I don't think that's true. I think that this age of 50 to 75 is the prime time. And anybody who doesn't understand that, I think we need to re-educate them. We need to break the pattern. We need to shake things up and let people realize that we need the people who are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s to be sharing everything that they can with the next generation. Mentorship is something that is so important. And I think that those of us who will be willing to mentor people, be willing to share our experiences with the next generation, that will change the stereotype. However, I also think that the younger generations need to realize that ageism is the worst kind of ism because you're going to get here. I mean, I hope so, because the alternative is death. And so if you're looking down on people who are older, I want you to remember it, because when you get into this stage of your life, and if ageism continues with the next generation, you're going to go like, oh, I feel they're pushing me out or they're so wrong. No, you did it. So I think we need to break the stereotype and realize this isn't the generations against each other, because unlike other ways that we're divided in our society, age is something we all go through. As long as we're able to live, we all go through these different stages. So instead of looking at the differences, I think we need to break the stereotype and start embracing cross-generational friendships and cross-generational networking, because that's the future for people, whether they're 14 years old or 94 years old. That cross-pollination of sharing ideas and learning from each other, that's where the real power is. And my third part is about cross-generational collaboration. I think it's really important that, number one, we have to value that experience, as I said. Number two, we have to break those stereotypes. But number three, we have to embrace working together with people of all generations. If you're currently in that span of age 50 to 75, and you're committed to making those the best years of your life, I'm going to ask you, when is the last time that you went to lunch with someone who was 30 years old or 35 years old? I did it yesterday. I have a question. When's the last time that you worked on a project with somebody who was in their 20s? I did it last week. I think that you need to be taking charge because the younger people aren't going to do it necessarily. Nobody's teaching them to look for mentors. Nobody's teaching them to get involved with people who are a little bit more their senior. So we're going to have to take the bull by the horns and actually work to find ways to collaborate. Because when we can work with people who are in their teens, their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, they're going to win and we're going to win. Collaboration is the way to do this. And so if we really, really, really want to thrive in this era, we need to be making friends with people who are 10, 20, and 30 years younger than we are. And I'll tell you what, yeah, they can learn from our experience, but we can learn from the way they see the world. Plus, we can learn about all the new technology that they're using. We can learn about the words that are being said. We can learn at how they're looking at world politics because it's different. But different isn't necessarily better or worse. Different is just different. So we need to embrace, we need to collaborate, we need to have conversations. If we can have more community, more collaboration, and more conversations with people across all the generations, we're going to be able to thrive more. And they're going to be able to thrive more. And that's really what matters. So embrace your ageless potential. Do not feel because you're in this span of 50 plus that somehow the world is passing you by. If you think it, that's what's going to happen. But I actually think that you can grab those bulls by those horns and make the best things happen ever. I'm 58 years old, and I'll tell you what, I expect when I'm 68, I'm going to look at this 10-year span as the time where I really got into my stride, and I'm proud of it. I'm not shy about being old. I was at a conference recently, and one of the vendors had a booth where they were selling like skin cream and infrared treatments for wrinkles. And the lady said to me, "Excuse me, sir, you're starting to look older." I mean, like, what kind of vendor does that? I looked at her, and she was in her 20s or 30s, and I said, "You know what? I'm really proud of being the age that I am. And someday, when you get older, I hope you're proud of it too, and you're not scared of a couple of wrinkles." Because you know what? We should embrace who we are when we're there. I'm not scared of it. And I don't want you to be scared of it either. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. And I'm looking for more ideas on how to make age 50 to 75 the best years of my life. And I know the people who are reading this online or listening to the video, they're looking for ideas too. So go into the comments and tell me, what do you think people can do to be able to thrive? Thank you and have a great day.